The following podcast is a deep, shallow dive production.
And you're gonna love it.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so I had to start this out by saying, bet you didn't see this.
Yeah, right. You know what's funny, dude? You know what's really funny about that is that is a very recent thing. Like, I don't remember how long ago I started to do that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even planned. I literally just made one video and I said, bet you haven't seen this, or bet you didn't see this.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a good hook. Like, let's see how it goes. And it just murdered. And then everything else that I posted, I noticed that the engagement was a lot lower because the way that the algorithm changed, I mean, as you know, like, it's very much about catching it quick, right?
That's right.
And so I was like, all right, let's try it again. So I kept trying it. And every single time I did it, it was like, boom, boom, boom. It just kept hitting. And I was like, all right, I guess this is the thing. But what's really funny about it is, so I kind of adopted this as my thing, but didn't even realize it. And then, you know, since probably 2021, people have quote unquote like spotted me in the wild, right?
Yeah.
And it's always just, they come up and they say, oh, this is that you're the Patriot guy. Like, I follow you, blah, blah. Okay, but this time somebody spotted me. I don't even remember where it was, but they came up from behind me, tapped me on the shoulder and said, bet you didn't see this. And they like said it in my ear. And I turned around and I'm like, oh, that's me. Like, it didn't register at first. I was like, what? Bet you didn't see what? Oh, like
that's hilarious. Well,
and so people do that all the time, dude. They come up behind me or they come up to me and they say, bet you didn't see this. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's me now. Yep.
I bet they do. And I have to give you the hugest compliment. So like, as I was kind of starting my process with Deep Shallow Dive and all that, and finally, like for the first year, honestly, I kind of was like hiding behind the camera. I really didn't come out from behind the scenes. A lot of people didn't even know what Deep Shallow Dive was, nor did they know who was behind it. So now I've kind of started to come out from behind the Deep Shallow Dive curtain a little bit. And so I've always wanted to find a way to incorporate myself when I'm doing other people's stuff, like remixing your stuff or Ian Carroll's or Candace's or whomever. And so I was like, God, that bet you didn't see this. That is so clever. I can't use that because that's Ian's. So I literally ended up coming with my own version, which was take a look at this video. And so my take a look at this video, I owe you that, actually. That is a
that's cool.
Homage to you because I'm not kidding. I borrowed that as a page out of your playbook. So thank you for that.
No, you're welcome. I mean, dude, the thing is like, so again, I never planned it, right? But then as it started to take off, I realized why it works so well.
Yeah.
So I've been in sales my whole life. I was in door-to-door sales for over 10 years. And the name of the game with door-to-door sales is catching people's attention fast, on their doorstep, getting their attention and getting them to be willing to listen, right? So what you have to do is you have to create a impossible scenario for them to not only disagree with, but an impossible scenario for them to like not acknowledge you.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because when I say, bet you didn't see this, now that I've kind of thought through it and why it hits, number one, it's catchy. Number two, a lot of people didn't see whatever it is I'm about to post because a lot of people use me primarily for their news, or they're just not concerned with anything else. And so they really haven't seen it. Or, and this is the funny one, or they have seen it and they're so like, ugh, as soon as they see it, they have to comment, no, I saw it. But see, here's the thing that most people don't get. It's a play on words because I'm not necessarily saying, bet you haven't seen this, because the truth is, a lot of the time I actually wait for things to kind of, you know, pan out. Like, I am not the type of person that likes to jump on something right away because, I mean, straight up, dude, the news changes so fast now. And the truth of whatever situation it is you're covering literally changes by the hour at the beginning. It's like, this is true. No, this is true. This is, and so many of these people will jump on it like a grenade, like, oh, this is it, right? And the fact of the matter is that I try my best to really report truth. And so doing that, I know that I have to kind of give some oxygen to some of these stories.
Yeah.
So believe me when I tell you, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, I see your stuff all the time, but like, I've already seen it somewhere else. I know. There's probably a good chance you have. But the thing is, when I say bet you didn't see this, it's not just about bet you didn't see the content or bet you didn't see the you know, the substance of this post. you definitely didn't see my take on it.
Yeah, exactly,
Like,
exactly. It's your take actually that is obviously, I think, what's attracted everyone to your content. And I was telling you before we hit record, one of the things that, guys like you, guys like there's a trio of Ians. There's you, Ian
Ian
Wendt,
Smith.
by the way.
Yeah.
There's Ian Smith,
Yeah.
the big dude, and then there's Ian Carroll, and like
Which are
those are
both
like.
good friends of mine and great, great humans.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's the trio of Ians. And sometimes when I'm talking to different people and I say Ian, they're like, which one? I'm like, oh, Ian Wendt, check it out. And actually my one buddy's like, oh, I bet you didn't see this guy. So that
Okay.
has definitely stuck.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and your whole setup right now is so perfect as to why I think you need to be heard is. So if you're not watching this on Spotify or YouTube, Ian's got an American flag painting that's of him and his son. That's absolutely magnificent behind him, right? There's an American flag to the side. He's wearing his own Patriot Gear hat, Patriot hat. And then is that one of the Charlie Kirk freedom shirts? What is that?
Yeah, I literally just made a video about this. So this is a Charlie Kirk freedom shirt, but this is his Charlie Kirk freedom shirt that I bought off his website
Okay.
because I'm not going to buy it off of his so-called friends out there promoting it or selling it for their own
Yeah.
brand. It's funny, dude, because we were actually asked to make these shirts because people have such confidence in our brand and in official Patriot Gear. They know that we wouldn't do anything to profit off of other people
Yeah.
and we would do it the right way. And so we were actually, I can't even tell you how many times we've been asked to make a freedom shirt, not only by our customers, but like by big names to
Yeah.
the point where at first I said, absolutely not. I made a video about it. I shut it down completely. And then I had one of my friends reach out that's like really level-headed. And he basically kind of talked me into it. And he was like, look, I understand how you feel, but the reality is, Ian, you're going to do it the right way. And so you need to do it because people want this.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win. And I was like, all right, well, I started to think about it. And I was like, I got to a point where I was like, the only way I'm going to do this is if I get permission literally directly from Erika that it's okay to do this and that she knows that all the profits are going to go to a special fund for her kids.
Okay.
Because the reality is financially they're taken care of. Okay.
Yeah, of
Anybody that
course.
says otherwise, like, dude, the amount of GoFundMe's and all the different things that like they're good financially. Charlie was smart. There's money there for the family. They're good. So I knew that if we were going to do this and we were going to benefit the family, there had to be something that was like very unique. And so that's why I was like, let's, give it to the kids, call it the Freedom Fund for the kids.
Sure.
And just let it be something they can use for whatever they want. Like take it to an amusement park, take it on a trip, whatever it is, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's kind of where I was at first. And I actually got permission, dude. This is before I started getting a lot louder about Turning Point and everything. But like, I know a lot of people there. And I straight up went to the top and I was like, hey, I'll do this if I get permission. And they said, you have permission, do it. And I was like,
was this before he got shot or after?
no, this was way after.
Oh,
This
way
was-
after. Okay.
Yeah.
okay, got
Well,
it,
I
got
mean,
it.
this was probably weeks after.
Like, I didn't know if that shirt was something that was in the mainstream before he got shot. Like, I don't know if he was wearing it before. This all came out afterward.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I didn't see it. But like,
Okay.
then again, it is one of those things where it's like the reason why it went off is because of what happened, right?
Yeah, of
and
course,
it
of
sent a
course.
message. But no, this is after. And
Okay.
so, but I got permission. I straight
Got
up
it.
got permission from the top, and they were like, to the point where we were actually going to. So part of what we do with our brand is, I'm not trying to plug my brand, but this is
No,
important.
it's all good. I want you to.
Well, so one thing we do is we reach out to influencers and celebrities and personalities, people that we feel like actually embody what our brand stands for, which is
Yeah.
nonpartisan patriotism, like
Yeah.
just freedom of speech, freedom of everything, and not political,
Yeah.
not based on color, not based on race, like just love of country, love of people, and willingness to defend it, right?
Yeah.
And so what we do is we actually kind of create like a collection within the brand for them. So for example, Ian Carroll has his own t-shirt that we used his special painting that's always behind him when he does his videos.
Got
And
it.
we
Yeah.
put it into the Patriot logo. And that's his signature shirt. It has his signature on it under the flag. And like, that's his shirt.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of others that are like that as well. And so I was literally going to do that with Charlie. We were going to make this t-shirt, but it was going to have a flag and his signature on it. And they gave, to the point, dude, where they gave me not only permission to make the shirt, they were going to give me his signature for it.
Oh, wow.
So if that gives you any idea of like how much people trust me and the brand as far as we're going to do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, so I was like, okay, well, shoot, maybe we should do this. And then, dude, I did another double take. As soon as I started thinking about it, I was like, no, you know what? We're not. Because here's the truth. Even if we create this fund for the kids,
Yeah.
even if we do any of that stuff, the only person that gains from this is me, is us. Because we make the design, we put it out there, tons of people buy it, we collect their emails, we collect their phone numbers, we get all the data, and then we are able to go and farm that data with the rest of our brand and the rest of our products. And so what I'm getting at is this. Anybody and everybody out there right now that is making a Freedom t-shirt or any Charlie Kirk merch, and they're trying to say, oh, but we're donating the profits and the proceeds or whatever to the... It's bullcrap, dude.
Yeah, I believe
they
it.
are 100% profiting off of the man's death, because even if they don't make the money, a ton of money up front, they're going to make hand over fist later with the amount of people that are going to buy that shirt and get into their system.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The data collection for sure. All right, let's talk about his so-called friends. Like, I'm at a loss, man. And I've really enjoyed consuming your content because you've really had the same mindset I've had where, I mean, I just don't get it. Like his entire network, including all the Turning Point people, and I hate to say it, including his wife, it's like they're treating his death as if he was a 95-year-old guy who peacefully passed away in his sleep. Like they went right to celebration of life. I don't get it. Like there's a million holes in this thing.
There is absolutely a million holes. It's funny because I literally just made a video about this and posted on my Instagram. But what I basically said was, it's so weird that you have all of these influencers and people that are attacking Candace Owens and myself and anybody else who is trying to like figure out what's really going on. Because the fact of the matter is that I think at this point, 99.99999% of people agree that the official narrative is absolute garbage. None of it makes sense. It's like if like one piece of it made sense, it would be something, but none of it makes sense. It's like all of it has holes in it, and everybody has been caught in different lies or inconsistencies, and like none of it makes sense. And so it's so weird that the people that were quote unquote closest to Charlie are like, I shouldn't even say that. The influencers and the people that you know say they were friends with Charlie or they profess to care about Charlie are attacking the people that are simply just trying to get to the bottom of this and figure out what's going on. That's the first thing. Really weird that they're doing that, right? That these people, because these influencers are the type of influencers that for so long, their shtick was uncovering the truth and questioning the narrative. And like during COVID, it was like, truth tellers. And yet now they're like, no, FBI said this, must be true, sick, move on. And it's and everybody else that questions it, you're a hateful bigot and a evil person and a like, I'm sorry, what? So that's the first thing. The second thing is all of the people that are, you know, getting caught in the crossfire, the people that are closest to him, like the Andrew Colvitts, the Tylers, all these people, right? They're going on these massive the pastor, Mikey. They're going on these campaigns.
Mikey McCoy, his dad, Rob McCoy. Those guys are all, it's like they're trying so hard. It's almost like they're overcompensating for what?
Exactly. Like they're going on these podcast tours and they're going on all these, they're basically campaigning on this whole, like, we didn't do it. Why are you attacking us? This is like, they're basically trying to exonerate themselves to the public court for simply being questioned of whether or not they're involved. And I'm like, listen, the best way I can explain this is if someone that I loved and cared about was murdered. And the official narrative made absolutely zero sense. And I knew it made zero sense. Even if all of the people that were questioning that narrative were coming after me, even if they were saying, oh, Ian was probably involved in this. I know I wasn't.
Right.
So it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, okay,
right.
sure. I get that when you get threats and things like that, it gets serious. I understand that. But handle it on a case-to-case basis, right? You don't make it public. You know that you're not involved. And so you know that at the end of the day, you're going to be completely exonerated. But you still don't know who, what, why, or how. All these people are trying to figure that out for you, and you're the type of person you're too close to it that you can't figure it out.
Right. Right.
So wouldn't the best choice of action be to just shut up, let them say what they want about you because you know you're innocent? It doesn't matter. That's complete air. Like, that's just, it's not, it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't care. It doesn't matter. And let them try to figure out what's going on and hope and pray that these people actually do dig up the bones and figure out what's going on. Right?
No, I don't get it, man. It's like all these guys like Officer Tatum, Benny Johnson, honestly, Dinesh D'Souza, a lot of people that I'll be honest, I liked their takes during COVID. Like during COVID, I was like, man, these guys are making sense. I kind of vibed with, COVID being, I don't even know, a psyop or whatever the hell COVID was. So I liked those guys for
Test
that.
run. That's what it was.
You say it again?
It was a test run.
It was a test run. That's
we can get
way.
into that because that definitely that relates to everything we're talking about right now.
All right,
it's not. It wasn't a test run for a virus.
All right, I'm gonna table that for 1 second because I
Yeah.
do want to get into that.
Yeah.
But all of those guys, one thing that I think helped them build an audience was their questioning of everything. And then all of the sudden, here we are in 2025, they've turned into the liberals that they attacked for 4 years. They've turned into the people that yelled at us for, asking, why are we wearing masks? Wait, why are we 6 feet apart? Why is
Right.
any of this making sense? You want to get a vaccine because you want to protect yourself? Knock yourself out.
Be my
Get 20
Yep.
shots if you want.
Yep.
But don't force that on me because I don't think that's the right route. Now, all of a sudden, these guys are acting the exact same way about it's like Charlie Kirk is COVID and they're attacking anyone that's asking questions. It's insane.
Well, and so, you're right. But going back to my point about this too, so again, you have the Andrew Kolvich, you have the pastors, you have all these people going on campaigns to prove their innocence, right?
Yeah.
Well, who is the one person that isn't saying a single thing?
The one person that isn't saying a single thing.
Closest
Trump?
to Charlie, not saying a single thing. No. In that
Closest-
circle, in his immediate circle, the one person who isn't saying anything, but is the closest,
His wife?
Erika.
Yeah.
So I will tell you this, okay? I actually think at this point, because of what I said, right? Because of the fact that I've gotten to the point where I have decided that if I was in that same situation, the best course of action would be let people say what they want about me. I don't freaking care. It doesn't matter. I know that I know that I'm innocent, but I absolutely would want everybody and anybody to be turning over every single stone that I couldn't and try to figure out what's going on and who killed the person that I love. It's for that reason that I actually think Erika might be Candace's source.
You know what? I have gone back and forth on this so
She
much.
hasn't told her to stop.
You're right. You're right.
She hasn't come out and tried to prove her innocence or anything like that. She's just
You're
kind of
right.
let it go. And she just keeps tweeting. She keeps on going on. And I don't know, right? Nobody knows. And let's be clear about that. When you talk about conspiracy theories, I think it's really important for people to understand this. It's very, it's always confusing for people because when you talk about a conspiracy theory, it's almost like you immediately assume that the people that are the conspiracy theorists believe in all the conspiracy theories that surround that specific event. No, that's not how it works. Being a conspiracy theorist or believing in a conspiracy it just means you don't believe the official narrative.
Right.
It doesn't mean you believe in everything. It doesn't mean you believe in everything from the holograms to, the wrong shooter.
Yeah.
It just means that you don't believe the official narrative and that every and any hole that can be poked will be investigated, right? So with this, it's like, look, man, she's the only one that is not coming out and saying,
You're right.
Why attacking my character and blah, 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 blah. And she's just letting people go.
Yeah.
Even to the point where she's letting Candace go, she's letting Ian go, and she's letting all the hate and everything come in, and she's not saying a single word. So I'll say, I think there's a strong possibility that she might be the source. Now, if that's not the case, then unfortunately it kind of goes to a more nefarious place for me in my mind. And it's like,
Yeah.
I really hate to believe that might be a possibility, but dude, at this point, you're naive to believe that anything is not,
No,
especially with
you
the
have to
different
be
things that have been
open to
dug up.
everything.
Yes.
You have to be open to everything. And I'll talk
Yeah.
about Candace in a second. But you're totally right. I will say, I think Erika's taken a lot of criticism for, like the way she was with the casket in his hands the day after, and
Very
then
theatrical.
very theatrical, going on the podcast, acting happy, the WWE SummerSlam memorial event. I mean,
Dude,
that
the
was,
memes for that are so funny, bro.
they're hilarious.
Oh my
That was
gosh, I was
crazy.
dying.
But,
One of my tweets went viral about that, by the way.
oh, really?
I don't know if you saw that, but dude, I had 8,000 followers on Twitter, and I went from
Yeah.
like 8,000 to 25,000 in like 4 days
Oh, that's
because I put a
hilarious.
tweet out there that said, I can't remember the exact wording. It was something like, if my wife dies, or no. If I die, I would hope that it takes longer than a few days for my wife to start working on my business. Something like that.
Yeah. I know. I remember
And
seeing
it
that.
went
I
so
remember seeing
viral,
that.
dude. And it wasn't even meant to. It was just like a passing thought that me
Yeah.
and my wife had, by the way. We thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to throw that up. And it
That is
freaking
funny.
went
That is
crazy.
funny. But to end on the Erika thing, I think you're right. So, again, yes, people have been critical about the way she's acted, but the one most important thing is she has not told Candace to stop. And
Nope.
she is not, all the other conservative influencers have attacked Candace like out the wazoo, but Erika has not told her to stop. So
And-
I think there's some truth to that. Yeah.
And I know that there is this theory there is this opinion that people will have when I say that of like, oh, but if she did that, like people would attack her for it. And it's like, no, they wouldn't, because there is so much cognitive dissonance based on faith right now
Yeah.
because of this whole situation. I mean, they have completely manipulated people based on their faith and their religion
Totally.
to not question this and then on top of that, shame other people for questioning it. So if you're telling me that she would get backlash if she reached out and told Candace to stop, no, you're wrong. If she did that, everyone would actually rally around her and they would say, yeah, Candace, you're the villain. Leave the grieving widow alone.
Totally.
So the fact that, and I know that Erika knows that. I know that everybody knows that. So the
Yeah.
fact that Erika hasn't pulled that card yet
Yeah.
is very telling, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it just is. And to me, man, how crazy of a movie would that be if all of a sudden, like, just imagine, right? Just imagine that all this stuff actually comes out. And then one day Candace gets on and she's like, we've been working on getting Erika, like, a secure location for her and her kids. Now she's
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You can't find her.
Yeah.
By the way, she's been the source the whole time. And here's the boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. Like, I
That's
watched too many
crazy.
movies.
That's crazy. The man, the whole thing though is just insane. I really take Charlie's situation back to, you've probably seen when he was on Patrick Bet David's podcast. It was like the 12th of October 2023, and that was the most honest podcast I think potentially in the history of podcasts, because that was before really the genocide and everything that's taken place in Gaza started. So Charlie he was telling the truth. He really was. And then he got shut down that next week and basically went silent for almost 2 years up until recent.
So for those people that may not know what you're talking about, it's the episode where he specifically calls out Netanyahu and the Israeli government for the stand down order that has been proven 100%. There was a stand down order. And then he also talked about, he literally said that they are committing a genocide and that is an ethnic cleansing of a people. He also brought up Epstein in that same episode. Like he hit every one of the talking points that you are not supposed to hit.
Yeah.
And I'll agree, man. I think that podcast, I've said this actually for a while now. I think that podcast specifically was when he was put on their radar.
On
Like
the radar. Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
it was like, we got to watch this guy. And
Yeah.
not only do we have to watch him, we got to get in with him and either turn him
Yeah.
or
Control them.
I feel like they kind of knew where it was going to go. It's this or this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
You could definitely, by the way, people don't realize honestly how powerful Charlie Kirk was. I mean,
No.
Turning Point USA is you probably know this better than I do, but like this is the preeminent Christian conservative Gen Z youth organization in the country. And it's really the lifeline and lifeblood of A, the Republican Party, and then B, that Judeo-Christian mentality, right?
Dude, it's not even this is the thing, man. It's not even just Gen Z. This is what people don't, I feel like most people don't understand and grasp about the Charlie Kirk situation, which is the main reason why I feel like the majority of them, it's why it's so hard for them to believe that this could have been an assassination plot by Israel, right? I think the main reason why is because they don't understand the full context. So what you have to understand is that this conflict has been going on for over 100 years. Like it has been going on forever, not just since 48, not just since 67, not just since October 7th. Like it has been going on forever. And the reality is, they very much were seen as an ally and the little David and the country that could do no wrong at all for the longest time. But then something changed in the 80s. In the 80s, when the bombing happened in Lebanon and the Sabra and Shatila camp, and basically what happened is the media caught on to it and they started putting out these pictures and videos on the news about these massacres and saying like, wait a second, we thought this is how this country was, but they obviously are showing us that they are someone completely different. And the narrative switched, dude. It flipped and people started to see Israel for what they were. They started to see him as this freaking giant and this like bully of the Middle East that was basically steamrolling their way across and just murdering people at will and getting away with it. And so in the 80s, they came up with something called Hasbara. And Hasbara in Hebrew means explain. And it's their literal, and this is real. You can look this up. This is not like a conspiracy theory.
Yeah,
like,
I've seen that term. I've seen that term
easy
so
to
many
find
places.
it, dude.
Yeah.
It is their literal PR campaign that they devised with some of the top PR executives from all over the world, including the United States. They brought in the guy that was in charge of the Miller Lite, because Miller Lite was always a woman's beer.
Yeah.
They reframed that to be a man's beer, like to be for men or whatever, with this guy. This guy was like a master of reframing. They brought him in to help with this whole campaign. They brought in Frank Luntz, who was also a master of reframing.
Yeah.
And they sat him down and they said, what do we need to do so that we can change the perception of Israel specifically for the West, for the United States of America, because we have to keep their support. We have to. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And that's when they came up with this Hasbara campaign. And it literally is exactly that. The whole point of it is that when they are doing things that are completely wrong and atrocious, and anybody would look at it and think it's horrific, they have very carefully outlined a specific plan that all news channels and all media and now all influencers and all talking heads follow to a T in order to reframe Israel as the defender.
The good guy. Yeah.
And the good guy, yeah. And garner support and keep that support in the United States. So the reason why I tell you that is because our parents, like my parents, right? The 40 to 60 something year old or older, they have been completely manipulated and propagated by Hasbara since the 80s.
Yeah.
And they had them like completely pinned down. So when you start seeing all this Free Palestine stuff in the recent years, it's because the younger generations weren't propagandized like the older.
Yeah.
They didn't have them down like everybody else.
Yep.
And so it's been a constant battle. Netanyahu himself said that they are losing the propaganda war recently, right?
Recently, I saw that. I saw that.
So what people have to consider is this. Older generations completely propagandized by Israel. They're on board. They don't question. They're just, that's our greatest ally.
Yep.
Boom, bam, done.
And that's
done
the
with it, right?
baby boomers and maybe some of Gen X,
Yes.
probably I'd
Yes.
say 50-year-olds and above.
The ones that have been listening to freaking Hannity forever, right?
Yeah,
Hannity was a
Hannity,
huge
exactly,
proponent of this. Hannity
exactly.
constantly said the same thing over and over and over, right?
Exactly.
So then now consider, okay, you have the college generation, which is what generation is that? I always forget.
Gen Z, yeah,
Is it
that's
Z?
Gen Z.
Gen Z?
That's Gen Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I'm
Gen Z.
38. So what's my generation?
You're a millennial. Yeah, you're kind of
Millennial?
like
Yeah.
top end of the millennials.
Ex-millennial? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're ex-millennial. So you're millennials or Y, but they go by millennials. So you're kind of there. And then below you is Gen Z, which really is TikTok and
Yes.
then has spilled over
Yes.
to Instagram.
Exactly. So now let's paint a picture, okay? So X and millennial,
Yeah.
my generation,
Yeah.
because of the Nick Fuentes, because of some of these other people, because of
Yeah.
these other personalities, we're also not completely propagandized. We're
Right.
not completely bought in.
Right.
The next generation, which is Z, the college generation,
Yep.
completely not bought in. I mean,
Completely not.
they're like 100% against the occupation, 100% against Israel, the left and the right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's the other thing that most people aren't considering. Charlie himself said they were working on, and they're still working on, thousands of high school chapters.
Wow.
So what generation is high school?
High school, I think, is like Generation Alpha or something. Generation
Okay, let's
A.
just call it
They're
Alpha for
even
now.
below. Yeah, okay.
Let's just call it that. Let's call it. So you have Alpha,
Yeah.
Z, X, Millennial.
Yep.
That's 4 generations that aren't propagandized the way that Israel needs them to be in order to garner the support for their Greater Israel Project. And in order to be completely behind the idea that America First includes giving all of our tax dollars and supporting Israel in their never-ending wars.
Yeah.
Right?
You're exactly right.
Charlie was the most, not one of the most. He was the most influential human being to those to those younger generations in modern history.
Yeah.
And he was not only influential, he was effective. He was actually
incredibly effective.
It was a turning point. Like, he was actually changing their minds. He was actually changing the opinion of the younger generations. And towards the end, as we all know, within the last year or so, he started to realize what was going on.
Yeah.
He started to realize that he was under the same propaganda spell that all the older generations were, and he was not about it. And I don't care what anybody says. There were so many appearances on podcasts and things that he said on his show and all kinds of stuff that were slowly turning him towards not only being anti-Israel and being America First, but also realizing, you know what? The government is kind of the same no matter what side you're on.
Yeah. I think he was coming to that. And there was some rumors that, like, when Israel bombed Iran, he was one of the only people telling Trump, hey, this is a bad idea, and then Trump yelled at him supposedly. So
yes. Not only that, on the 16th of July, I believe it was July 16th. And the reason I know that is because it was right after or right before some of those Google searches started coming up, where people were searching, coincidentally, the hospital and the medical examiner and the surgeons from that hospital from Israel and DC. Anyway, we can get to that. But he went on his show. I actually made a video about this too. He went on his show and he outlined the 10 necessary steps that had to be taken by the administration in order to regain the support of the base. He literally went on and said, listen, you guys have lost the plot. You're losing the generation. You're losing this base. It's a mass exodus. And the only way you get it back is if we get complete declassification of the Epstein files.
Yeah.
And he laid out a 10-step process that they had to follow if they wanted to regain the support of the base. This all happened before he was killed.
Yeah.
And so when you consider all of these things, and then you consider the fact that it was also during the exact same time that one of the greatest genocides and examples of just inhumane murder at mass without being questioned hardly at all was happening, right?
Yeah.
and that America was supporting it. And then on top of that, they were buying up all the platforms that these younger generations use the most. So you have
Yeah.
TikTok, Google,
Yep.
YouTube,
Yep.
and restructuring their Hasbro plan. While all of that is happening, the most influential person to all of the generations that could literally be the one thing that topples the entire house of cards is taken out in front of 3,000 people on a campus, and and nobody knows who, why, how, or what.
Yeah, yeah, that's insane, man.
Like,
So let me ask you this. Do you think that it's working against them? Do you think they miscalculated with this? Because I will tell you, I had on, did you see that kid that kind of grilled and cooked Glenn Beck the other day? It was at the Turning
oh
Point
yeah,
event.
I did.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I posted
His
about
name's
that.
his name's Jeb Baugh. I had him on the
Okay.
podcast last week, and it was a great episode. And I asked him, I said, Jeb, what does your generation think of this? And what do you think of the Charlie Kirk situation? Do you think there's holes in this story? He said, we all do. None of us believe this. So it almost feels like, I don't know, did they shoot themselves in the foot by doing it the way they've done it? And will that turn the generation off even more? Or I don't know, 50-50 maybe?
It's such an interesting question, and I've asked this question I've talked about this with some close friends, and like, I, I always struggle with, is our government really just that retarded? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, are they really just that stupid? Like the
Yeah.
love letter that came out that was
Yeah.
obviously AI, right? Or the fake letter to Bibi that they tried to push from
Yeah.
Charlie. It's like, are they really that retarded? Do
I
they
know.
actually, like, did somebody legitimately come into the office and say, "Hey man, AI cooked this up. It sounds
Yeah.
pretty good to me. We should send it out." Hell yeah, bro, send it. Like, is this the boomers just not being,
I know. I
you know what I mean?
know.
Like, is it my dad sitting behind a table and saying, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good. They'll understand this," and me being like, "Dad, what?"
Yeah.
Like, I I can't get to the answer of, are they just that stupid and really just that unorganized, and they're just completely out of touch with the younger generation and what we're capable of,
Yeah.
and did they really just overplay their cards, or is it really just a massive psyop? Like, is this
Yeah.
all just one big psyop, like so many other things have been, that hit, a few birds with one stone,
Yeah.
right? The Israel
Yeah.
support, the distraction, furthering the Gaza Riviera plans, right? Like all
Right.
these different things, and it's like, is it also leading to this inevitable crackdown? Because we know that in addition to TikTok and Google and YouTube, there's been VPNs and AI systems that have been bought by Israel. And on top of that, you have Larry Ellison, who controls TikTok,
Right.
who is a staunch Zionist.
Staunch.
And a lot of these people that are now controlling our information platforms are Zionists, are staunch Zionists. And so is it just leading to this like inevitable crackdown where they're going to use the most massive AI surveillance to crack down on anti-Semitism, which is ultimately just any and every opposition to the overall goal for globalism, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Is that where we're headed? And like, is that what's really going on? And between those two things, I struggle all the time, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Ray, I don't know. Are they stupid or are they really smart?
I have to think they're really smart. I really do. I mean, I've thought through the stupid things so many times, and I'm just like, there's no way. Because I think about all the different voices that could be involved in this, like even the Trump family. I'm not a fan at all anymore, but even of like Don Jr. and Eric, and there's Laura, there's Ivanka, there's Jared. There's smart younger people in that fold. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know who's all involved in the decision making of this, but in my mind, there's too many diverse intellectual people that somebody would be like, are you guys crazy? That sounds so stupid. Don't send that. So it has to be the flip side. And let me tell you something. When I think of America First, like, I don't even know if you subscribe to that movement in particular, but my simple definition of America first is somebody that really wants America to be at the beneficiary of everything. And you know who that is? It's you, dude. Like I look at you, I look at, I don't know if you know Jeremy Sladen, J Slay USA.
I
He's
know who you're talking of. I've never met
okay.
him, but I know who you're
Yeah,
talking about.
he's a great guy. But like Ian Smith, Ian Carroll, like all these guys that to me, again, you guys, you're really centrist in many ways, but you've got an American flag. You've got a double American flag behind you, but you've been one of the most outspoken, and honestly, I really want to credit you on this, one of the most empathetic voices of humanity for the Palestinian people. Like you really have. I've taken in so much of your stuff, and I'm like, dude, this is so refreshing. It's like a normal white dude that truly just is calling a spade and just says, hey, don't kill women and children. Hard stop. Like end of conversation. We don't
Like,
need to. Yeah,
imagine that.
it's
Like, imagine that.
it's
I know, dude.
crazy.
I don't understand it, and it's crazy. Like, I've said this many, many times, but I've never said it on your show, so I'll say it.
Yeah,
My belief of America first is 100% America first does not mean America only. Okay. The fact of the matter, and I've used this analogy so many times, but I feel like it's the best one. If my family is drowning in the river with a bunch of people and I am able to save them, I am going to dive in, save my family, bring them to shore, make sure they are dry, comfortable, safe. They're not going to have any other issues. And then I'm absolutely going to dive back in and try to save other people. Right.
yeah, yeah,
But not until they're safe and not
yeah,
until they're good. And that to me is what America first means, because you cannot pick somebody up off the ground with two broken arms. Like you have to get to a place where you're strong enough to make it happen. And I also, though, like I said, I also believe that America first does not mean America only.
mm,
And the reason for that is simply because I believe in the law of the harvest. I believe in the fact that truly the more you give, the more you will receive. And so I believe that's a universal law. And as a government, we absolutely have to be willing to give in order to receive. And now, so in other words, I am not an isolationist.
yeah, yeah,
However, I will say that at this point, where we are right now as Americans and as a country, we absolutely need some isolationism.
yeah, yeah,
Even if it's for
absolutely.
a short period, we
Right.
need to be isolationists right now because we have got to take care of our own. We have got to get our country back to a place where we want where our kids will be happy to grow up, quite frankly, like we were. Like I know
Yes.
that there were a lot of issues and everything in my childhood that I wasn't really aware of, but like I had a pretty dang good childhood, man. Like I feel like the America I grew up in was a great one.
Yes.
And I think most people would agree with that. And it's like we
Totally.
need to get back to a place where our kids are safe and taken care of, and they grow up and they're able to, chase the American dream and like truly become something of themselves and
Right.
and be free.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're not in a place like that right now. And so like, yeah, we kind of need some isolationism right now in order to get there. But then once we do, we absolutely should reach out and help our other neighbors. And we should
Right.
absolutely do our best to, once we have the means, we should be willing to give. And this is something I believe so strongly to my core because it's exactly who I am too. And I'm not trying to like, you know, pat myself on the back or anything, but like, dude, if legitimately, if I could make a living from making lots and lots and lots of money and then giving that money away,
Yeah. Yeah.
but as long as my family was like safe and taken care of
Yeah.
and like we had what we needed, I could do that. Because the most fulfilling thing that I have ever done and that I even am blessed enough to continue to do is things like that. Like when the hurricanes hit North Carolina and Texas and stuff, like I am blessed to be able to raise a ton of money and then
Yeah.
go give it away. It's the
Yeah.
best feeling and it's the most fulfilling thing that any human being I feel like can do. And so I believe the same thing about our country, but you can't do it if you don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't keep
Absolutely.
creating it out of thin air.
No, those were all great analogies, and I love the analogy about saving your family, making sure they're good, and then jumping back in. I totally agree. Like I don't understand the Republican Party right now just makes no sense to me. Conservatives make no sense to me. It's like on one hand, yeah, let's seal up the border for sure. I'm good with that. But then on the other hand, why are we sending billions of dollars continuously to Ukraine and Israel? That doesn't make sense. Like you want to seal up the border and stop immigration because it costs money, but then you're taking that same money and you're giving it away. I don't even really know your political background. Like, were you, I mean, I would imagine you've leaned more Republican in your life than Democrat just by, I don't know, the fact you have a
Yeah.
Patriot hat on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, I really wasn't very political at all until like 2016. I mean,
Okay.
I woke up
Mhm.
in 2001 with 9/11. Like
Yeah.
that's when I kind of got the hobby. I was more, it was a hobby of being a conspiracy theorist just because
Yeah.
I was like, this is bullcrap. I'm from
Oh, now
upstate New York.
you thought that back in 2001,
Oh,
like when it happened, you were like, this is not
I
adding
mean,
up.
no, it was like to be fair, it was like a couple years later, right? Because I
Okay.
was
I
young,
love that.
but I'm
Yeah.
from upstate New York, okay?
Okay.
And so, like, it was probably a few years later. I don't
Okay.
know exactly when, but it was definitely like around that time, and I started to kind of become the closet conspiracy theorist. Just like I would just dabble. It was just fun to like
Yeah.
look into this stuff for me, right?
Yeah.
But I was never vocal about it. It was never something that I felt like I needed to be vocal about. But it led up to really in 2020 when I saw everything that was happening with the BLM riots.
Mm.
I knew what it was. I saw it for what it was. And like I thought a lot more people understood that stuff too. Like I thought way more people understood the power of the mainstream media and the propaganda that they use to spin narratives
Yeah.
than really did. Like so when I started speaking out, it was in 2020. I decided to I basically decided to gamble on whether or not I was going to burn the platform on social media that I'd created over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I probably had, I don't know, 10, 15,000 followers maybe that I built in my sales and business career.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard at it. And then one day I was like, I got to say something. Like, I know this is manufactured. I know they're creating a divide. I know that this is all
Mm.
bullcrap race war stuff. And I even know what they're going to do for the next 3 years. And I was like, I got to say something. My wife is like, you're crazy. You're going to burn everything to the ground. They're going to think you're crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but like if I know that I should say something and I don't, what is he going to say 10 years from now when he asks me, Dad, what did you say? And I say, I didn't. I stayed quiet. And so I did. I said, F it, dude. And one day I turned my phone around and I started talking and
And
blew
this
up.
was BLM leading into COVID, or did you
This
start
was
with?
BLM leading into COVID. This
Okay,
is
okay.
when they were stacking bricks and burning the
Yeah,
cities
totally,
down. And like,
totally, totally.
so what I did was I'm a big movie buff and I love production and I'm a creative. And so I started using Instagram stories to make these mini films. I
Yeah,
would literally
I love
make
it.
them in my Instagram story with
Yeah,
text and colors and like I would use the paint tool and I basically made these mini films and then saved them as highlights on my page that people could watch. And dude, it got to a point where they would have date nights and they would be watching
that's
Wenster
hilarious.
movies and I would do countdowns and drop them on a Friday night. And like
Yeah.
they were 20-minute long. I have some on Northwoods, on JFK, MK Ultra. I have a massive 4-part series on Julian Assange.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's
that's
amazing.
so that's how people really like found me. That's how things like started to blow up.
Yeah,
But what happened was I just started to think about it and I was like, I have worked for so long to build influence on social media because I really did. Like I genuinely wanted to be a force for good.
yeah,
And I was like, I don't want to be the conspiracy theory talking head. Like
yeah.
there's so many of those. I want to do something better than that. And that's when I decided to use, because at this point I probably had 60,000 followers. And so I rallied everybody together. And what we actually did was we raised money for small businesses that were basically going to have to close their doors during COVID, during the lockdowns. We raised like several $100,000, saved
Oh, that's
multiple
amazing.
businesses.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then from that, I was like, okay, this is cool. By the way, I still had my career. I was still working full time as a CMO of a major sales company.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, this is cool, but like, how do I really, because I knew something about marketing. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay, Now I have to get these people to like band together because I'm trying to create a community. I'm not just trying to create this one-off, like raise money and do this following. I want to create a community. And so I realized all of these people had one thing in common. They were so patriotic. They loved the country. They loved their people. They wanted to support these businesses. And not one time did anyone ever ask me, is the business owner black? Are they white? Are they wearing a mask? Are they vaccinated? Like no one, not
No
one
cared.
person ever asked that. They just threw money and resources at these businesses because I said so and because it was a business and a fellow American that was in need.
Yeah.
And so that's when I made the Patriot tee. I literally made this t-shirt right here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
It's the first one I ever made.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it would be cool if we could sell, 50 of these.
Tell people the website because I'll put it all in the
It's
description.
officialpatriotgear.com.
Officialpatriotgear.com. Okay,
Yep.
I want people to go to that. All right, give me what do you think's going on with Candace Owens, man? Give me your take on that and her.
Dude, I think Candace is just doing what Candace does. That's the funny part. Like Candace is an investigative journalist at this point. She's not just for the longest time, I think she spoke more on like pop culture and stuff like that. She definitely spoke on politics, but now she's become much more of like an investigative journalist. And I think that's a natural progression because of her following and the trust that she's been able to build with her following.
Absolutely.
People trust her to the point where they will send her intel and send her information and know that she's going to do the right thing with it. And so, dude, Charlie and Candace were like best friends.
They really were up until the very end. People have tried to discredit that. And that's the other thing where
I think that's what activated her. I think
so,
she was on a tear to figure out what was going on because she knew that the official narrative was bullcrap. But I'll be honest, I think the number one thing that like radicalized her to the point where she's like, I'm gonna go hell on earth to figure out what's going on with this. It's when they started to try and say that they weren't friends and that they weren't close because she's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I will tell you this. It's very interesting, that little group of, conservative social media influencers, Officer Tatum, Benny Johnson, Dinesh D'Souza, there's a network of, let's say, 15 of them. I think somebody gives them talking points because every day it's like they hammer the same thing. And then all of a sudden I'm seeing the same message about Candace being this or someone being that or Tucker Carlson being this. Actually, today it's all about, Tucker Carlson having Nick Fuentes on and, this was disgusting.
It's an onslaught on Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. Why would you platform this Nazi and this anti-Semitic, whatever? But there's such a common thread many times, even with the way they word things. It makes me realize there's somebody disseminating those talking points for the day.
So I'll say this, as far as the pro-Israel and anti-Candace and anti-like Tucker and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I cannot confirm that there's 100% any kind of like agency or someone who is feeding them talking points for that specifically, although I don't doubt it at all. And the reason why I don't doubt it is because I already know that there are agencies that feed talking points, specific talking points for other issues politically and socially to these same influencers. And the way I know that is because I've worked for one of their agencies.
Oh, how funny.
There's multiple agencies out there. And here's the thing about it.
Wow.
It's one thing, like when I worked for it, and when I say worked, what it means is they found me and they said, hey, we have all these different companies and organizations that basically come up with these campaigns and they feed us these campaigns and then we push them out to the influencers and the influencers choose whether or not they want to do it. And it's based on clicks, subscriptions, views. It might be based on just opening the page. Like it's all different. Every single campaign has a different strategy and a different like action, right? And then every one of them has a different price. You could be paid $1.60 for every subscription. You could be paid $4 for every subscription. You could be paid 60 cents for every time somebody clicks on the link. It depends. It's all different, right? And so I'll say this. Why did I get involved with this organization? And honestly, I'm still technically involved with them. I haven't done one of their campaigns forever, but it's because there are campaigns that come across, like the last one I did, I think was for the VA. It was all about raise awareness about how there's so many holes in the VA and the service isn't fast or efficient for veterans. and make a video and talk about that. And I was paid based off of views. And I was like, yeah, I do that all day. Like, because that's something I believe in.
You actually believe in that cause.
Easy, right? And there's been other things that are like, it might be based on like going after big pharma or whatever. Now, I will say some of them you have to really deep dive because they hide things in there, right? And you have to be really, really careful about what organization you're supporting. So like, for example, I put out a few things for PragerU for a while before I ever knew about Dennis Prager and his weird being okay with child porn and like all this other stuff. And like, once I figured that out, I was like, okay, never again. Right.
Yeah.
But you know, you live and you learn. Point is though, if you're doing it that way, dude, I don't have any problem with that. If you actually believe in it and if you're actually pushing it because it's a good cause, great, fantastic, do it. But if you're the type of person that's literally, and these are the type of people, they'll just push every single campaign that comes their way because they're making the money off the campaign and they don't really care what the message actually is.
No, totally.
That's a whole other story when you just become a prostitute for political activism.
And then the whole theory, I mean, not a theory, but I think it's true. You know, Netanyahu met with a bunch of influencers.
And that's not a theory. He did. There's video.
He did, yeah. And then those guys got paid $7,000 a post or something. That's what they're saying. That's
what they say. And so like, so to go back to the Tatums and the DC Dranos and those guys and stuff, like, look, at the end of the day, I don't know if they're getting paid or if they're getting specific talking points for the Israel stuff or the Candace and Tucker stuff, but I know they get specific talking points for all the other things. And you can actually tell if you pay attention and you watch Tatum's stories, for example, every once in a while he'll post like a black story that just has text and a link. That's what that is.
Got it.
That's exactly what that is. And it's always some random thing that doesn't have anything to do with anything else, but he's doing it at times of high engagement because the more people that click on that link, the more money he makes. Now, as far as the $7,000 goes, I think there are definitely influencers that they're paying the $7,000 to. I don't think that's a question.
Yeah.
But when I say that these influencers are paid off, I'm not always talking about money because what I think a lot of people forget is that the Xaviers of the world, for example, I don't even know how you say his last name, but you know what I'm talking about.
The black guy on PragerU that has like blonde hair.
Xavier makes videos. Like this will just explain it to everybody. When Xavier makes his like video, his viral TikToks or whatever, he's doing it from a place in his house where he has his credentials and his party invites hanging on his wall like trophies.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if you're hanging your credentials on the wall like a trophy, you are exposing yourself for the extremely insecure person who is constantly seeking validation and attention. That's what that means.
Yeah,
that means that party invite is like so important to you.
Yeah.
So what am I getting at? I don't think those people are paid. I think they're too stupid to get paid. I think instead they're getting paid with the party invites and the handshakes and the validation and the press. Like, dude, listen, I'm going to expose someone right now.
Yeah, do it. Amazing.
Okay. So this guy, Cam Higbee, he goes on this Israel trip. Okay.
Yeah.
He goes on the Israel trip. He does this massive propaganda campaign. He posts multiple times about they're lying about the aid in Gaza, blah, blah, blah. He takes a picture on a tank like it's a photo shoot, right? Him in his little man purse with his bulletproof vest looking all, anyway, like he does this whole thing, right? And I literally said while he was doing it, I was like, watch, when he gets back, this is what's going to happen. Number one, he's going to have an unreal amount of money all of a sudden because they're going to pay him to do it. Or he did it for the access. And they're going to prop him up and they're going to give him notoriety. They're going to give him press. They're going to put him in the public eye.
Yeah.
And sure enough, you guys can go look this up. I have all the receipts, but you can go look it up. As soon as he got back, he started to do his podcast more. All of a sudden now, right now, as we speak, he is on campuses doing a Charlie Kirk campus tour. It's called the Fearless Tour.
Fearless Tour, yeah.
Where he's literally doing the exact same thing. He's been featured on Fox News several times. He got a press badge. He met Caroline. He was in that whole meeting with Trump with all those other influencers for the press conference.
And I think Trump called on him. Trump 100%. Actually even called on him and said, Cam, what do you think about
100%.
something?
And then they ran that massive thing about him because he got attacked at the campus and made it a whole big deal. And like, he 100% was used not because he was paid to do what he did.
I
He
see what
knew
you're
that
saying.
by
Yeah.
pushing that propaganda and by being that freaking propaganda prostitute, that he was going to get what he really wanted, which is affirmation
Access.
and notoriety.
Yeah.
Because what
Yeah.
you guys are watching, you are watching the modern day evolution of politicians. This is what our parents watched when it came down to the media personalities that eventually became politicians, or the journalists that eventually that got into politics or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's the same playbook. The only difference is the game has changed a little bit, and now it's all about the influencers are the ones that are going to become the politicians we hate. So mark my words, people like Tatum, people like Cam, people like all these people that are just towing the line and pushing the propaganda, they are going to be the politicians that one day we profess to hate, just like all the other ones.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because they're
They're going to
bought
be the
off.
new Ted Cruzes of the world and the new Lindsey Grahams. That's pretty crazy. You're absolutely right. It's like
Xavier got the
Truman
key to the
Show.
city.
What's that?
Xavier got the key to the city where he
I
lives
saw that.
with
That's
the Israeli flag right over the American flag.
yeah, it's just amazing. I'll tell you what, though, man, they have opened up Pandora's box with this. They've opened up Pandora's box, and I think it's all because of the genocide of the Palestinian people in Gaza. It's caused everybody to take notice, and it's not closing, man. It is not closing. I don't know where the rubber's gonna meet the road and what's gonna happen, but it's not stopping, right?
Uh, what? When you say what is not
I
stopping?
mean, the questioning of, let's say, everything Netanyahu's doing as step one, but then taking it back to, okay, what really happened with 9/11? What really happened with the moon landing? What really happened with, Gaddafi? Was Gaddafi really that bad of a guy? Saddam Hussein, what was Saddam really that bad? Did Osama bin Laden really do all that stuff? Then, like, okay, did that kid really shoot Trump? Was Trump's assassination staged? You know what I mean? Like, it's opened up every single question that could be asked.
This is kind of where this is a
COVID,
rough,
same thing. Yeah.
this is a rough one, man, because this is kind of where Ian Smith and I agree, right?
Okay.
Ian Smith and I disagree on a lot of things. We also agree on a lot of things. This is where I feel like Ian Smith and I meet, which is the idea that, look, at the end of the day, so much of this is just bread and circuses. Like, the reality is our system is 100% controlled by a small group of people. And that small group of people, it always comes back to the same thing. Whether people want to admit it or not, it comes back to the same thing. It's money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's money, power, and control. Those three things. Once you have the money and the power, control's the next step. Now they're working on the control piece.
Yeah.
And so when I look at, like, in Israel, and when I look at the United States even, dude, we are pawns on a massive board. And this is where I feel like when people hear this, is like, oh, well, what's the point anyway? So I'll get to that. Give me a second. But the hard thing about the Gaza thing, dude, it's done. Like, it's already done. And honestly, how much are you still hearing in the news right now? For the last 3 or 4 days, it's gone completely silent.
Yeah.
And why? Well, because they turned the freaking area into an ashtray. There's nothing left. The only place that's left is Gaza City, and they just bombed the shit out of that too.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that they dropped the equivalent of 13 Hiroshimas on that place.
That's insane.
13 Hiroshimas, dude. I read another statistic somewhere that said they've been murdering like 16 kids a day since October. It's insane, dude. And the hard thing about it is it's done.
Yeah, you're right.
It's over. They have done it. And now it's just a matter of what happens now. And this is the same thing that has happened over and over and over and over throughout history with this conflict, is they get to the point where it's like, well, not really anything we can do about that now. Like, what are we going to do? Create a 2-state solution and put these people in the settlements that are nothing but rubble now?
Yeah.
Like, it's already done. And the settlers are already settled, and their entire home is already gone. And Trump and this administration and whoever and freaking what's his name, Kushner and all these guys, they're already involved in this massive Gaza Riviera project. They've already announced it. They've already announced the digital tokens for Gazans, or that they're just going to push them out completely. They've already announced the land grab. They've already announced the AI cities. They've already like, all of this is now done.
Yeah.
And so it's it's not even like what can we do about this? Well, what we can do is sit back and watch it happen. And, it's like, so what's the point of it all? The reason why I speak up, because I've thought about this so many times, because it's like, really, what is the point? If we can't do anything about that, like,
It's so much
why
easier
do we
not
do
to
this?
speak up, by the way. It's so much easier not to have a podcast. It's so much easier not to go on social media. Just post what you had for dinner, post your name misspelled on a Starbucks cup, post the stupid shit like half the people still do. It is so much easier not to do it. But yeah, why do you do it?
It's not because I feel like I can change things on a massive scale.
Yeah.
It's not. Like, I don't believe that I can single-handedly stop the war in Gaza. I don't think anybody does. I don't think I can single-handedly uncover the truth about Charlie Kirk's assassination. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I don't, who will?
Right.
Because there are millions and millions of people that not only don't think they have a voice, but also refuse to be a voice.
Right.
And so it's like, someone has to do it.
Yeah.
And I have been blessed with gifts and talents, and I've been blessed with a feeling of, I don't know. I've said this a couple times. It sounds weird, but it's like in 2020, I feel like I was called to do this. And because of that, I feel like I can't stop. Like, I have to continue to raise awareness, shine light on the darkness, be a voice for people who don't speak up or feel like they can't. And just continue to lead where I can and do what I can with what I have.
Yeah.
And be an example of, I'm not the perfect father or perfect husband, but like try my best to be an example for people as far as fatherhood and being a husband and a business owner and, just being a genuine, authentic voice in a sea of propaganda and lies and discord and like, try my best to achieve what I feel like I've been called to do, which is unite the good.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're doing it. You honestly are. You're a very refreshing kind of common sense voice in this sea of partisan. That's really what it's become. It's become a sea of super to the right people, and then all the crazy liberal super to the left people who, quite frankly, are arguing over the wrong things. They're arguing over the wrong things on the left, on the liberal left, and then on the right, they're trying to cover up what us people in the center want to argue about. That's really it, man. That's really it. It's pretty wild.
Dude, it's great. I mean, yeah, it's wild. Like we still don't know, by the way, who the most prolific freaking pedophile in human history. We don't know who he trafficked kids and underage women to for decades as part of the most expansive blackmail operation on the top elites of the world. We still don't know the answer to that one.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
It's crazy, man. I just think that if you feel like you have a voice, if you feel like you've been given a voice, you need to use it. Even if you feel like it's not going to be the number one thing that topples the cards. Like my friend Bobby, I don't know if you've had Bobby on here yet. Bobby, Take Naps, Bobby Sauce.
Sure.
He's awesome. You should have him on for sure.
Okay.
I'll connect you guys. He's also very much like me, very centrist, very willing and able to see all sides, offend whoever. Like, it doesn't matter. He's just about freedom and truth.
Yeah.
And what he always says is, if you have the ability to speak up, do it. Because at the end of the day, none of us know if we're really going to make a difference. But at the end, but he also says that eventually the cream rises to the top, right? Like, we are in a place in a time in history right now where, believe it or not, you have the ability to cement your legacy in history and actually be somebody of consequence. You don't know how that's going to happen. I guarantee you the people that we still remember to this day from hundreds of years ago or whatever, they didn't know that that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
It just happened because they were willing to step up and lead. And it's so important to do right now because so few people are willing to do it. And I'm not saying you do it, selfishly or whatever, but like, I mean, Ray, I literally wear this on my wrist every day. I've worn it for years and years and years and years. It says leave a legacy.
I love
because
it,
I'll be quite frank, I don't care. I literally could care less what anybody thinks about me in the moment. I literally don't care.
Yeah.
Family, friends, colleagues, followers, I don't care. I will say what I want. I will do what I want. I will be myself. What I care about is what people think about me 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 100 years from now. That's and what they attach me to my kids. And what that means. And I know that the only way to cement something that is meaningful there is by being the most authentic, the most genuine that I can possibly be, and just doing my best to like uphold my mantle that I've been given.
I love it, dude. I love it. All right, listen, man, I could talk to you for hours. This could go on
I know,
for
man.
a longer time, but I really appreciate it. I do want to do a follow-up though, because I want to get into the COVID stuff and really
Yeah.
get your thoughts on all.
We could for sure. I think we should definitely get into the COVID thing, because what you're seeing now with the whole anti-Semitism thing in Israel and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, guys, if you're listening to this, just go change the words. Go change anti-Semitism to COVID. Go change Israel to doctors. Go change, propaganda to misinformation.
Yeah.
You literally, it's a carbon copy of everything we went through in the early 2021, 2022. And so it's like
You're
all these
so right.
like the Dinesh dude. Dinesh was so on top of COVID. It's like,
Yeah.
obviously he's been bought out. I do believe
Yeah.
he's been bought out.
For sure.
But it's like, how can you not see this for what it is? And again, it's because of religious cognitive dissonance.
You know what? Next one, let's deep dive the COVID thing, because I think that'll be
Sounds good.
interesting to really then bring the parallels to what we're going through today. And actually, maybe that'll help people realize both things. You'll start to
Maybe it'll wake them up and be like, wait,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Everybody follow Ian on Instagram, because honestly, his Instagram is one of my favorite. It's at Ian Wendt. I'll put it in the
Iwenster.
Iwendt. Okay. I'll put it in the
It's super
description.
complicated, dude. I'm sorry. I tried to change it at one point because Ian Wendt is my actual name. Iwenster was my football nickname.
Oh, that's funny.
And when I started blowing up, I tried to change it, but then people were like, "Oh no, I can't find your thing." I was like, "Oh crap!" So it's Iwenster. It's
Okay,
IWENDTSTER.
Okay, so it's missing the A and the N from your first name.
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
kind of.
IW.
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll put it in there. And then official patriotgear.com. All right.
Correct. Yep.
I'm gonna go on and grab some.
I'll
All
send
right,
you
dude.
some stuff,
Super enjoyable, and just keep doing what you're doing, using your voice. Again, like I said, I thoroughly enjoy your content, and we'll have a follow up. All right, everybody.
All
Hope
right,
you
Ray.
guys.
Thanks, bro.
All right, buddy. Take care. All right, everybody. Call a spade, call your parents, and we'll get back with Ian soon.
This episode was brought to you by Zippix nicotine toothpicks. Zip more, smoke less. Totally satisfying, discreet, and delicious. Zippix nicotine-infused toothpicks are available in 6 great flavors, each containing at least 2 milligrams of nicotine to curb those cravings. Zippix is FDA registered and proudly made in the USA. Use discount code DSD for 10% off your order at zippixtoothpicks.com. Zip more, smoke less, save 10%.